Anyway, I haven't practiced the guitar in forever, and I'm not going to practice on here and make you guys go through that. I'm just showing you, this is the Squier Fender Telecaster, and I picked it up with a little practice amp this week for a couple $100, literally $200. So I was just going to give you my take on it. Like, it's definitely worth practice. It's great for a practice guitar. I don't have to pull out my really expensive Fender Stratocaster. This one's a Telecaster, T-E-L-E, and it looks a lot nicer than a Stratocaster. But the wooden stuff, you know, it's all composite and whatever they call it. It's made for exactly what it does well, and that's practicing, you know. If you ever end up getting a gig or something, you're going to want to go get spend $1,000 or a couple $1,000, and you get yourself all different specialty woods and feeling and but is it bad? Heck no. For a couple $100, what can you get in this world for a couple $100? And you can find guitars like that laying around all over the place because people pick them up and then decide it's not their thing, you know. I just jammed that little fucking junk out there like that noise, but I'm not here to torture you guys. I'm going to start practicing, and all I had there was that 212 amp, right? I got a bass amp, I got 212 amp. I didn't have a practice amp. So this here's a practice amp, so what I got going now is I can just pop up here in my dad's bedroom and have it set aside, and I can just sit down and I can strum a little bit whenever I want, you know. And he even gave me a stand, and I got a couple extra picks laying around here, a little Fender amp here. It's loud enough. I cranked it up. It's loud enough. The neighbors don't want to hear me on my 212s. I'm not even really a good guitar player. When I was playing my best, I was doing some riffs from you know, Guns N' Roses and blah blah blah, or I'd be doing, you know, whatever that week I was in love with, you know. When I was living in college, I taught myself how to play and everything. So I know all the chords of the G, and I can read some of the books, the G, C, D, you know, E, Fs, and sharps, and minors, and, you know. If you give me a chord, the chords and the rhythm, I could play it, you know, the strum pattern or whatever, I could play it for you, no problem, but me and Dave used to just jam out, and he was great at the piano, and he was self-taught, and we just had a good time in college, and I never did get a Telecaster, and I absolutely love the look. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It's great for practice. It's great for my position. This is exactly what it's made for, right here. You come in, you sit down, you're not afraid to get dust on it in the, you're not afraid to knock it off the wall. Before, if I wanted to play, I'd have to go down there, and I had to go get out my really expensive Stratocaster, you know, and I'm glad I won't have to do that anymore. When I want to just come up here and practice, and, you know, sometimes you get in the mood to practice, and then by the time you get everything out, you never practice because it's just so much work when you got a guitar case, and you don't want to leave a mint condition or a really expensive old Fender just out in the dust and different room temperatures on the wood and stuff like that. These guitars here, these newer ones by Squier by Fender, they're made different. They're made out of these composite materials. You'll never have a problem with temperature, you know, fluctuations and warping. You only get that when you got solid wood stuff, you know, from the old days. So anyway, all in all, to end this video for a couple minutes, I'd say it's worth every buck if you're going to spend a couple $100. Parents, if a parent is watching this at all and interested in getting their kid a guitar, Squier makes a fine guitar for a couple $100. Now, here's the thing. If you go to the store and your kid's pestering you and they want to become a rock star overnight, you got to be careful about that, because just that little amp there, you're talking $99.99, or it's probably $129.99 now, depending on what store you go to. Just a nice guitar cord. because cheap ones ain't going to last them more than a week. Just a nice guitar cord's $30 to $50, right? You're already at almost $200 with some guitar picks. Your first act Fender book for their first chords, and then you start getting into guitars, and right away they're at $349.99. You know, if you go to a $299.99, $300 and some bucks, you start adding it up, you're looking at $600 bill. You know. So the whole idea is that there's deals out there everywhere on guitars and other musical instruments, because a million kids a year pick them up, and you find out it's really not easy and it's not their thing, you know. I was the same way. And but the design on this is the Telecaster. Man, that's a really young looking design for a young man. I really like it a lot, you know. I got the really expensive Stratocaster, and this is a way better looking design for a younger guy that's going to high school or something. I'd rather have this look than a Stratocaster. That's very subjective, but... And like these guitars, you know, they're not expensive. They're cheaper. You can bang them around. You might have to get out the wood glue one day, but I mean, look for a deal for $200 and you could just leave them sit up like this. Like I said, they won't warp or nothing. They're made out of all types of materials that are hard, and it's wood, but... When you feel a real Fender, there's a big difference. They might inlay some of that wood there, and it's a Fender. But when you get your hands on one that's 40 years old, the pickups and the magnets are heavier. The guitar itself, it weighs like a brick. You know, this is light. You know, but yeah, I would suggest it. My favorite guitar design of all time is a Les Paul with the riser, the fingerboard risers. It gives you a lot more room for error. You know, these are on all these other guitars. Almost every other guitar I've ever played has just these straight. You know, it's a little harder for beginners. You're real tight in here on the. You'll have a bridge in here on the Les Paul that pulls these strings up a little bit, gives you a little bit more play and a little bit more forgiving, you know. Slash played that. Anyway, this is my dad. He loves, I got him a couple cans of clam chowder here at Pizza Oven. I put in for him a heater there. Because these old houses, the furnace doesn't even hardly push air up here, so I just turned it off at this point. A little old mini fridge. Look at, he's got this here. But yeah, he comes and visits. I'll have to get him on camera once in a while. He's a character, but we'll see if I get more viewers. But he just comes and visits me every year, a couple times a year, Christmas, and I got a little place for him to come up here, and a little bit of storage. But I put extra TV and stuff. But I put what do you call it up here for him? He doesn't like electronics. I do the best I can when I'm here to help him with them. So I put up this here so he's got. You know, I can move this stuff out of the way when he comes, and he can just watch his old DVDs. I got boxes. I got all these DVDs in 2 big boxes of them I got 2 boxes, extra boxes of DVDs on top of all these, right? And TVs, and look at this. I just got boxes and boxes for them, you know, of DVDs for $75. I think they sent me 500 DVDs or something. Westerns and you name it, so... Anyway, that was a little program for today. It's a little 10-minute video. It's something, and it's different for the algorithm. So if you enjoy guitars, or you're wondering, I mean, look how perfect that was for me. You know, it even came with a little tuner. I got to get a little battery for, but for a couple $100, you're not gonna lose. You can't lose. What are you gonna get for? And a bag right there it came with. I mean, you get these deals all over, so. It's great for practice. If you're looking for some practice, it's great for that. All right, have a nice day.